Good day, everyone. Today we'll be presenting our report on workplace diversity in Vietnam's tourism industry under the ASEAN Tourism Project. Vietnam, as one of the key members of ASEAN, continues to strengthen its tourism sector by promoting inclusivity, cultural understanding, and equal opportunities in the workplace. In this presentation, we will explore how diversity contributes to Vietnam's growing tourism industry and how it aligns with ASEAN's goals for sustainable and people centered tourism development. Vietnam is a Southeast Asian nation known for its complex history, resilient culture, and dynamic market oriented economy. After decades of war in the 20th century, the country has made significant economic progress and is a popular destination for tourism. It is situated on the eastern edge of the Indo-Chinese Peninsula. It shares borders with China to the north, Laos and Cambodia to the west, and the South China Sea to the east. Vietnam's tourism sector has grown significantly and is a key driver of the economy. So, for the key cultural values and workplace practices in Vietnam include strong emphasis on collectivism, family and hierarchy, deeply influenced by Confucianism. Workplace practices reflect these values with a focus on building relationships, harmony, and indirect communication. Traditional practices emphasize respect for elders and authority, while a team oriented and adaptable approach is also prevalent. So, for the cultural values, we'll talk about the collectivism and family. So, Vietnamese culture prioritizes the group over the individual, with a strong emphasis on family bonds, loyalty, and community. For the hierarchy and respect, there is a deep seated respect for hierarchy, authority, and elders, which influences many social interactions. For the harmony, maintaining social harmony is highly valued, both in personal and professional life, often leading to a more consensus driven approach. For the indirect communication, so communication tends to be indirect, subtle, and nonverbal, with a focus on maintaining face and avoiding direct confrontation. So, for patience and adaptability, many Vietnamese people are known for being optimistic, hardworking, and adaptable, with a tendency to approach problems with patience and resilience. For the workplace practices, first is the relationship building. Strong interpersonal relationships and trust are crucial for business success, and building these connections often takes precedence over formal agreements. For the respect for authority, employees often show deference to superiors, which can sometimes make them hesitant to speak up or challenge decisions directly. For teamwork, there is a strong preference for teamwork and collaboration, with a mindset of mutual support developed through a history of collective effort. For patience in negotiations, negotiations may require patience, as a decision making can be a gradual consensus building process. For gift giving and hospitality, gift giving is an important way to build relationships and show respect, and business meetings often involve shared meals or other social hospitality.
I'm Magwad Maria Cecilia B. and I will discuss the common challenges for Filipino tourism professionals working in Vietnam. Filipino tourism professionals in Vietnam may face challenges related to cultural and communication differences impacting teamwork and customer service delivery. Challenges can also arise from differences in workplace ethics, such as the Filipino emphasis on personal relationships, versus Vietnamese approaches to hierarchy and the need to adapt to a different work environment, including navigating potential issues like corruption that are perceived differently across cultures. Cultural and communication differences. First is communication styles. Filipino professionals may find it difficult to interpret the tone in Vietnamese communication, which can lead to misunderstandings. Second is language barriers. There may be language barriers that hinder effective communication with local staff and customers. Third is workplace dynamics. The emphasis on personal relationships in Filipino culture might clash with more hierarchical or direct communication styles in Vietnam. Workplace ethics and practices. First is decision making. Decision making processes called differ with potential for friction if a Filipino professional's more collaborative style is not a good fit. Second, motivation and teamwork. Motivating a culturally diverse team can be challenged if there isn't a shared understanding of each other's work ethic and motivations. Third is perceptions of corruption. While the Philippines also faces challenges with corruption, the specific environment in Vietnam and how ethical standards are upheld may different, creating challenges for those trying to maintain a high standard of integrity. Adapting to the Vietnamese work environment. First is geographical familiarity. A lack of familiarity with local geography can be a disadvantage when providing advice and services, especially in a sector that relies heavily on local knowledge. Second is work-life balance. The demanding nature of the tourism industry, with its high workload and potential for night shifts, can be difficult to navigate, especially if Filipino professionals are used to different expectations around work life balance. That's all.
So now I will be explaining on how the ASEAN Mutual Recognition Arrangement for Tourism Professionals, or the MRATP, supports mobility of workers. So the ASEAN Mutual Recognition Arrangement for Tourism Professionals, or the MRATP, supports workers' mobility by establishing a common set of competency standards, certifications, and training for tourism professionals across ASEAN member states. So this allows qualified tourism professionals to have their skills and qualifications recognized when seeking employment in other member countries, facilitating their mobility and access to a larger regional job market. It works by providing a mechanism for mutual recognition of certifications, reducing the need for retraining or recertification, and creating a more integrated and competitive regional tourism workforce. So, the ASEAN MRATP, or the Mutual Recognition Arrangement for Tourism Professionals, helps Filipino tourism workers in Vietnam by making their skills and certificates recognized across ASEAN countries. So this means they can work in Vietnam without needing extra training or certification, allowing them to find more job opportunities and share their expertise in the tourism industry.
So now I will be discuss the recommendations for Filipino workers to adapt effectively in that multicultural workplace. So to adapt effectively in multicultural workplace, especially in Vietnam, Filipino workers should practice active listening, show respect for local customs and tradition, and be open to adjusting their communication and working styles. Additionally, fostering open-mindedness, seeking and to understand Vietnamese business etiquette,
and building relationships through social interaction can help navigate differences and build strong professional bonds. So, Filipino workers need to listen carefully to others and respect the local culture and tradition. They should be willing to change how they talk and work to match the local styles. So being open-minded and learning about how Vietnamese people do business will also help. Making friends and having good relation with coworkers can make it easier to understand each other and work together smoothly. That's all and thank you.